Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, second hour kicks off right now on this for Friday morning. I wish it was Friday. Tuesday morning. It is a grind my gears Tuesday morning. So what's grinding your gears? Let me know. All right, another thing that's grinding my gears, I am trying to figure out this new video stream thing here on the fly, and I got to do it while I'm live on the air, and I just bear with me. I know there's been like some weird graphics kind of popping up and all that good stuff, but I want to make it so we can have the video stream up on Facebook and on YouTube. So thank you for bearing with me and kind of just, going with the flow here. So hopefully I'll get everything figured out, and we'll be a master at this going forward. Spent the first hour talking some green and gold, talking some Packers. If you're just joining in, though, and you missed out, the question I'm throwing out there is, all right, we're into just a couple days left of training camp. Final preseason game coming up on Friday. Packers going to have to make some decisions when it comes to the roster. But with all training camp and with all this whole preseason, has there been a player or a position group where you feel better about, or maybe you feel worse about? Who is that? Let me know. All right. Hit me up. 715-830-1912. Or you can hang out in the Section 105 chat room. So we'll get to that coming up here a little bit later on. So it is a Toys for Grind My Gears Tuesday, where we have Jared saying, you know what really grinds my gears is Keyshawn Nixon acting like a true number one corner when he refuses to even tackle during a preseason game. He's clearly being outplayed by a rookie and a free agent who we just signed. I'm assuming, Jared, the free agent you're throwing out there is Benjamin St. Juste, right? That's who I would assume you're throwing out there. But yeah, I think Keyshawn grinds the gears of a lot of Packers fans. And I know that the thought out there has been, well, if he's viewed as a 2 or 3, maybe the angst, maybe the frustration towards him wouldn't be that much. To me, though, it's not just that. It's the fact that he has been public and he has voiced that he views himself as a 1 or he wants to be a 1. So he has put that on himself. Like, he's put that on himself. So you got to. You throw that out there and you say you don't want to return kicks anymore and you want to focus on corner and you want to be a number 1. You put that on yourself, and you're going to open yourself up to scrutiny if it's not going to work out. And I think that's part of it here. Just my opinion. But anyways, coming up next hour, we're going to talk some Badgers. Lots to watch or talk about when it comes to the Badger world here. So RJ Cardinal will be joining us around 8:20 this morning to hit that up. Brewers, they're back at it tonight. Off day yesterday for the Brewer crew, but they'll be back at it tonight, taking on the New York Mets. 6:10 first pitch. You can listen to that game on your radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Pre-game coverage will begin about 35 minutes prior. Kyle Harrison is on the mound here for the Brewers. So we'll see if Kyle Harrison can improve to 11-3 on the season. So Kyle Harrison obviously has been one of the bright spots, surprises of this Brewers season. No question. Right? No question. He has been a nice bright spot, a nice surprise for this Brewers team. And he, again, like Logan Henderson, this is going to be a dude that when it comes playoff time, pressure's going to be on. There's a lot riding on his shoulders, like pretty much everybody on this pitching staff to help carry this team, to help go out there and hopefully lead the Brewers to a deep postseason run. When we look back at Kyle Harrison, his last start, though, going up against the Mariners on the 18th, went 5 innings, just 2 hits, no earned runs, struck out 8, walked a couple of batters. A nice bounce-back game from his performance with the Padres. And I know, they kind of adjusted the ERA, the runs, earned runs from that game, so his ERA is still under 3. He's at a 2.84 ERA. But in that Padres game, he went 4 2/3, 10 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. So good to see him kind of bounce back from a little bit of an off night here. And when we look at the lineups, when we look at these two ball clubs, you got a little bit of experience with some of the Mets hitters going up against Kyle Harrison. Just a game's worth, really. And kind of looking, did he play the Mets this year? No, he did not. No, Kyle Harrison did not pitch against the Mets this year. Okay, I was just kind of if he pitched in that series or not. On the flip side, going for the Mets tonight, got a lefty, Zach Thornton. So Zach Thornton is getting the start here, and he did pitch against the Brewers back on July 21st, and he picked up a win. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks. A solid outing for him, and that was a part of a month of July that he was really good in. 3 games, he started 3 games, 2-0, 1.40 ERA. August, 4 games, 1-3 with a 3.92 ERA. He is coming off of 2 straight losses. But really, he gave up 3 earned runs against the Padres, 3 earned runs against the Braves. The game before that, August 7th, no earned runs against Pittsburgh, 3 earned runs against Miami. So really it hasn't been like throwing gas on a fire, and he's been allowing a bunch of earned runs. This is going to be, for this Brewers offense, should be a tough matchup. I would imagine even if Sal Frelick is available for this game, because it sounds like, that's what we were told. Sal Frelick was going to be called up and back with the team for this series with a lefty on the mound, probably Luis Lara getting the starts, and maybe in center field with Garrett Mitchell with that forearm, probably Jake Bauers in right. Probably going with a right-handed heavy lineup. And you got to, looking at the experience with Thornton on here too, a lot of these hitters, they just have the experience of going up against him in that game in July. So there's really not a whole lot. You're talking about like 2 at-bats, maybe 3 at-bats. And I wonder if this is going to be a game, too, maybe where we see Contreras at catcher, Sanchez DHing, maybe Yelly sitting down. Yelly doesn't have any career at-bats against him. Bauers doesn't have any career at-bats against him, but they might still keep him in that lineup because of his the power aspect. And he has been hitting lefties better this year. We look at Jake Bauers and, his numbers this year, which have been really great. For a left-handed batter, though, he's been hitting better against lefties this year, which I think is really the most impressive thing. Now, most of his home runs, 17 home runs, have come against right-handed pitching. But a lot of that is probably due because he's getting more opportunities. But these are his numbers against lefties for this year. Okay? 69 games, 107 at-bats. He is hitting 280 against lefties compared to 270 against righties. He's got a on-base percentage of 376 versus left-handed pitching, 384 against righties. But his slugging, 542 versus left-handed pitching compared to 488 versus right-handed pitching. And his OPS, 918. 918 against left-handed pitching. 872 against right-handed pitching. And away games, for what it's worth, Jake Bauers has really played well on the road this year. 61 games at home, 57 games on the road. On the road, Jake Bauers has hit .301. On base of a .415. He has slugged .536, and his OPS is .951. Yeah. He's just had a really good month of August here, too. Overall, .288, .422 on base, .515 slugging, and a .937 OPS. And really, when you kind of break it down month by month, he's been pretty consistent. But post-All-Star break, he's definitely jumped up in some of the numbers. Pre-All-Star overall, he was hitting .268. Now he's .280. On base is actually is up to .373 pre-All-Star, .406 after the All-Star break. Slugging is a little bit down. Pre-All-Star, he was .508. Now he's .486. But his OPS is up compared to .881 and .892. Jake Bauers, man, I think we can seriously ask the question, where would this team be without Jake Bauers' performance this year? 23 dingers, 75 RBIs, .273 average, .885 OPS. Jake Bauers is Christian Yelich right now. Jake Bauers is doing what we wanted Christian Yelich to be doing. And it's like Christian Yelich is doing what we've maybe kind of been accustomed to with Jake Bauers. It's role reversal. Really, when you think about it, numbers-wise, if we said, okay, we're at towards the end of August, name this player, 23 home runs, 75 RBIs, .273 batting average. Oh, Christian Yelich? No, Jake Bauers. He is doing exactly what we wanted and what the Brewers were hoping maybe from Christian Yelich. So where would this team be without Jake Bauers' numbers this year? In first place? Probably not. Maybe a wild card team. But Surveyor says Keyshawn grinds my gears so much. He's officially replaced Brandon Bostic as my most despised Packer ever. Whew. All right, Packers fans. I want to hear more about Keyshawn Nixon from you. Like, how do I want to approach this? I mean, from a Q rating, Keyshawn's probably last for Packers fans. I got to think about how to phrase this a little bit. I don't want to simply ask, how do you view Keyshawn Nixon, Packers fans? That I don't want to. I want to go a little deeper in this thing. What maybe frustrates you the most about Keyshawn Nixon? Is it the talk? Is it what we see on the field? What kind of maybe frustrates you the most about Keyshawn? Think about that for a hot minute and let me know. Hit me up. All right. We got to take a quick break, but we'll be back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Football season is here. Baseball is still going strong, and that means one thing. It is the perfect time for a tailgate, baby. Whether you're firing up the grill before kickoff or gathering with some friends for the big game, make sure you've got plenty of great food. So you should stop by Mike's Star Market and pick up everything you need for your next tailgate, including the all-important brats, because it is Wisconsin, right? Mike's Star Market, your neighborhood stop for great foods and game day grilling. Football, baseball, brats, and people you love. That's a tailgate. Head on over to Mike's Star Markets and load up. I was wondering if we were, as soon as I read Surveyor's text about Brandon Bostic, I was waiting for a comment from the one and only C-Bomb, and C-Bomb has chimed in. C-Bomb, the Brandon Bostic slander to this day grinds my gears. Do you know how much had to go wrong with that game to lose it? It wasn't just that onside kick. Honestly, half the roster and half the coaching staff should have been cut after that game, not making up for the one boneheaded play, but it was a comedy of errors, not just that one onside kick. I've gone back and forth on this. Yep. I mean, you look at the Clinton Dix getting caught up in like that 2-point conversion, like what, and that you had the John Ryan fake field goal thing. At the end of the day, there's a lot of things that contributed to it, but at the same time, you still got to do your job, and you still got to do it correctly. And a lot of people didn't do their job correctly in that game. But ultimately, that is the one that sealed it. Really, when you think about it, it kind of sealed the fate. That's definitely a debate that everybody's going to kind of be talking about probably for years to come. So we don't need to relive 14-15, though, okay? We're on to the 2026 Packers here, right? We're on to the 2026 Packers. But Keyshawn, all right, where are you guys at on the Keyshawn Nixon thing? For some of you that haven't given us your take on it, what did Pro Football Focus grade Keyshawn Nixon last year? Okay, 66.4, which was 40th out of 114 corners. Second most pass breakups. He was also flagged the most. He is definitely a lightning rod of a player. Just kind of read. Defensive grade, 40th among 114 qualified corners. His coverage grade, 67.8, ranked 35th among 114 qualified corners. His run defensive grade ranked 40th at the position. I'll be honest, that's a little bit that those are higher grades than I initially thought. Nixon broke up 13 passes in coverage. He also allowed now this is a 105.2 passer rating when targeted by opposing quarterbacks. He surrendered 50 receptions in coverage. He also contributed 62 tackles or 62 solo tackles in run support and open field situations. So he was 13th in solo tackles, 16th in missed tackles, 30th in passer rating allowed, 66th in yards per reception allowed, 11.4. Yeah, second in pass breakups. That's his only top 10. Top 10 finish. 9th in coverage snaps. But, just out of curiosity, where did Carrington Valentine rank in Pro Football Focus? So Carrington, pretty similar overall grade, 65.7, which was 44th amongst 114 corners. Did he have any top 10? 54th in pass breakups. Not really. He did PFF coverage grade, 44th. Run defense grade, 59th. All right, so if we use Pro Football Focus as kind of a tool, a part of the toolbox here and looking at this, Pro Football Focus grade Keyshawn a little bit better than Carrington. He allowed a 109.4 passer rating. Yikes. I mean, if you had to choose, it's probably not the greatest options, but if you had to choose between Carrington and Keyshawn, who would you roll with? You go with Keyshawn, it's the better numbers, but then you kind of you kind of worry about the penalty potential with him. But man, Carrington, he whiffed on some tackles last year that are still ingrained into my brain and ingrained into my mind right now. That's tough. Maybe not that tough, but. Surveyor said he frustrates me because he acts like a number one corner with the demands like he's some all-star. Newsflash, bucko, you're not. You were the most penalized person in the entire NFL. 14 flags, 14. You created multiple, and I actually mean multiple, boneheaded moves last year after the whistle. And yet you want to walk into Lambeau and act like you're the new hotness. Get over yourself. You're a 29-year-old number two corner that was about to be out of the league years ago had it not been for your returnability, and now you want to not do the one thing that actually made you a Pro Bowler. Get out of here with your arrogance and be a team player, or hopefully we trade you to Vegas for a used washing machine. And Surveyor says, C-Bomb, no, I will not stop the Bostic slander. Did a lot of people screw up? Yep. But he was explicitly told to block, and he didn't. C-Bomb says, if Nixon performed well, there would be no slander. Had he never opened his yap and just did what the team needed, he'd be a fan favorite. But run your mouth and run your mouth and say you're CB1 and won't return kicks when a returner is needed. That's not a team player. That brings scrutiny. I think that's part of the big thing here too. Right? I mean, that's still a big part of this is that dude was an all-pro as a returner. Okay? And without an obvious replacement to his, no, I ain't going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. That's not going to endear you to some fans. Right? That's not going to endear you to the fan base. So we've got Zach saying, good morning, everybody on YouTube. I still don't like the thought of Nixon starting. I'm worried he's going to do more bad than good. And I really don't like to say that about a player. How many penalties is he going to cost them? I think that's always going to be a concern with him, right, Zach? Until he kind of cleans up. Even in like training camp with like some of the practices I was watching when I was there. I know I mentioned this last week, but I don't know if it's technique because it sure looked like it was technique. Letting the receiver get to him, and then he's got to play a little catch-up. Now, to give him a little credit, it sounded like he did better yesterday. Keeping up with Jaden Reed, doing a good job in coverage. I don't know if something clicked. Maybe it was just one day, but okay. Use yesterday, build upon it, get better. Here's the thing. This team needs Keyshawn Nixon to play at a high level this year. They need him to. And I think a lot of it is up to Keyshawn, whether he wants to or not. Go out there, ball out, be a team player. That's what we want to see from Keyshawn, isn't it? Go out there, ball out, play at a high level. All right, I got to take a quick break. Keep these comments coming, though, all right? Hit me up either on the Section 105 chats or you can hit me up on the Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. We're back after these few words. School is back in session, and that means the family schedule is back in full swing. School drop-offs, practices, games, activities, and all those miles in between, they can put plenty of wear and tear on your vehicle. Hey, before your busy fall schedule gets too crazy, make sure your vehicle is ready to go. Bring it to AJM Automotive in Eau Claire for the service and the repairs that you can count on. From routine maintenance to keeping your vehicle running right, AJM Automotive is here to help keep you and your family moving. School is back. Life is busy. Make sure your vehicle is ready with the help from AJM Automotive in Eau Claire. Okay, some good conversations going on here about the Packers and Keyshawn Nixon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you want to continue to chime in on that, please feel free to do so. We were talking a little Brewers, got a little sidetracked and such, but that's okay. That's what usually happens here. But the Brewers, we were talking a little bit earlier at the beginning of the hour here. So that's the question, where would this team be kind of without Jake Bauer's offense from what we've seen so far? And Ben had chimed in a little bit earlier. He said this team's probably not in first place if it's not for Jake Bauer's maybe competing for a wild card spot. But you're right, he's kind of flip-flopped with Christian Yelich. He is putting up numbers that we expected from Christian Yelich this year. Another texter saying Jake Bauer's may not be the MVP of the team, but maybe he's been the most important in some aspects of this team. That comes from Greg. That comes from Greg on our texting line too. So, Jake Bauers has earned himself some money this offseason. He's definitely earned himself some money this season. Now, it's such with the whole CBA thing. I don't know what contracts are going to look like. Players are still going to get paid. I don't think there's going to be a salary cap. That I'd be shocked and surprised if the players concede that. The players would have to give a ton back. I mean, a ton back. Like Major League Baseball would have to give the players like a lot of other things that they would want for the players to say yes to a salary cap. So I don't see that happening. Floors, yeah, I could see different rules when it comes to deferred money. I could see that. But it will be kind of curious to see what Jake Bauer's market is going to be next year when he's a free agent. He had this great year. But how many teams will look back at previous years and factor that into it? But we'll get down that road when we get down that road. He's been a big-time contributor for the Brewers this year. I just, you look at those numbers, and I think the thing that really stands out to me is when we were going through what he's done against left-handed pitching so far. That's really where it's been the surprising thing. And runners in scoring position, too. I mean, Jake Bauers. This has been kind of a grind my gears for a lot of Brewers fans over the years, has been what has he done in terms of, runners, or what has the team done in terms of runners in scoring position? Well, Jake Bauers has hit 286. He has slugged 598, and he has an OPS of a 1.025 with runners in scoring position this year. So, all right. Maybe we get runners on. We got to hope for Jake Bauers in that lineup or in that spot in the lineup. He's actually hit better. I just like going down some of these numbers here and trying to find some interesting stuff that pops up. He's better against starters than he is relievers, numbers-wise. He's 282 against starters. Relievers, he's 260. OPS, 894 compared to 873. 507 slugging compared to 497. Really want to break it down. He's actually, numbers-wise, batted better as the fifth batter in the lineup. He's a 300 hitter. 304 to be exact. And a 1.044 OPS when he's batted fifth in that lineup. Just out of curiosity, where does Trang and Cheerio go in that thing? Because Jackson and Trang have, kind of flip-flopped a lot, batting leadoff or second or even third. So Jackson Cheerio, he has actually been he's only done it a couple times, but he's hit 571 as a third hitter. Majority of the time has been first or second. He's 287 as a second batter and just 244 as the leadoff hitter. Bryce Terang as the leadoff hitter, 224. Much better as the third hitter, 276. I think this goes to conversation we've had off and on. Like, who's the better option for leadoff hitter? And we've seen it get changed quite a bit this year. If Sal Frelick was healthy and Sal Frelick was doing numbers and putting up numbers that he was doing last year, I think you have to put him as the as that guy. I'm just going through here. So actually, okay. I wanted to bring something up here, but I think it's going to be a little bit. Yeah, all right, my computer just kind of froze up there. So, yeah, batting first 244, but actually leading off an inning and such. Cheerio's actually 302 when he leads off. Okay. And then, Terrain 244. Okay, actually, when he's batting first in the lineup, Terang is a little bit better at 273. But it's like when he's leading off a game or an inning, it goes down. Okay, interesting how they break that down a little bit further. So, all right, Brewers 6-10. Again, we've got Kyle Harrison on the mound. Kyle Harrison looking for his 11th win on the season, 10-3 with a 2.84 ERA. When you look at what Kyle Harrison has done so far this year, he's actually been worse on the road. In 9 games, he is 3-2 and a 5.01 ERA. This might be something to kind of pay attention to when we get to the postseason. And they put together their rotation. We have seen this before. They may look at these numbers and say, okay, Kyle Harrison, much better on at home. So they might put together that rotation to ensure that Kyle Harrison is going to get a game at home, because he is 7-1 in 11 games at American Family Field with a 1.26 ERA. His opponent's batting average is 177. On the road in 9 games, 3-2, 5.01. And he is allowing a 278 batting average on the road. That might be something to kind of watch when we get to the postseason. Because you know that's going to be, they're going to look at that. And they're going to look at, okay, who's maybe better on the road, who's better at home. And we've seen that over the years with not only the Brewers, but other teams too. Maybe certain matchups, you go up against lineups. Yeah. So if the Brewers have home field, I think right now you'd probably like, okay, we got to make sure Harrison's probably going to get the second start behind Mizorowski. If you just look at those numbers. If we look at, I'm curious now, let me look at Logan Henderson's road and away numbers here really quick before I got to take a quick break. Logan Henderson away. Actually, okay, yeah. Logan Henderson in 6 games at American Family Field, he's 4-0 with a 2.25 ERA, but on the road in 7 games, he still has 4-2 with a 2.89. So, yeah, it kind of seems like that rotation would probably be Miz, Harrison, and then you probably, if you got a road game, you're probably going to put Logan Henderson out there. What's Dustin May done so far this year? Just out of curiosity, too. So Dustin May, Dustin May's been better at home, too. But 3.93 ERA at home, and away he's been 5.59. Yeesh. Oh, wow, he's giving up a 281 batting average on the road. Yikes. Anyways, interesting numbers there. All right, we got to take a quick break, and we'll wrap up the second hour and approach halftime. We'll be right back after these few words. What's the latest and greatest going on at Hy-Vee this week? How about buy 3, get 1 free Jack's Pizzas? Load up the deep freezers, baby. I don't know about the rest of you, but yep, pizzas are huge in our household. How about $1.99 a pound, Sanderson Farm Fresh, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. 39-cent Hy-Vee yogurt for the 6 ounces. This is something where you got to start to think about loading up the food pantries, the freezers. The kids are going to be back at school, some meals, maybe some quick meals on the go if they got football, volleyball, cross country, golf, whatever it is. You're going to have to be thinking about that. Or packing some school lunches, too. You got $5.98 for Skippy peanut butter for a 40-ounce. All right, PB&Js are huge in my house, except for me because I can't have peanut butter. But my kid, that's what he eats almost every day for his school lunch. So you got $3.99 large size Post cereal for some breakfast in the mornings, too, before they're off to school. So now's the time. Got to start to load up. Got to start thinking about school. Packing for school. Some of you are already back in session, too. And don't forget, when you do shop at Hy-Vee, you can save at the gas pump with some perks. So if you take advantage of some of the sales, like $9.99 Hy-Vee coffee 24 count, you could save $2. $2. How about getting some M&M ice cream sandwiches? 5 cents off per gallon when you purchase that, too. So check it all out at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire's Facebook page, and make sure you are following the Hy-Vee and Eau Claire Facebook page, because, well, then you'll be given a heads up when they have like a one-day sale like they did yesterday. Hy-Vee one-day sale where you earn 20 cents off per gallon with every $40 purchase. Always some good stuff going on at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. All right, with just a few minutes left to the top of the hour. So coming up next hour, we're going to switch gears here a little bit. We're going to talk some Badgers. We're going to talk some college stuff with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. Good to catch up with RJ here, as the Badger football team will be kicking off their season next week, but we've had volleyball in action. I know week 0 kicks off in the college world this weekend too, so we'll get back to chatting a little bit with RJ in about 25 minutes or so. If you're just joining in and you missed maybe the first hour, we threw out the question with Packers training camp starting to wrap up this week. Final preseason game on Friday. Looking back from the beginning of training camp to where we are at right now, is there a group, a position group, or is there a player or players where maybe you feel a little bit better about? And on the flip side, is there somebody that you feel worse about? A position group that you feel worse about? Or a player that you feel worse about? A popular one for the one that you've felt better about has been Trace Mack, the kicker. And I can agree with that. I could definitely agree with that. Has there been anybody else? Has there been another position group? Let me know if you have. All right. Let me know if there's somebody else that you would throw into consideration for that. We went through a lot of them in the first hour. We'll kind of revisit. I know some of you, I did post it up on my Facebook page yesterday. I'm going to try to do that now every night, because I know some of us, or I should say some of you, aren't really up and at it right away at 6 in the morning, and you may miss the first portion of it. And I want to get your feedback. I want to get your input. So I'm going to try to do that every night. I'll post up a question and just to kind of get your input so you can still participate in the program. So we'll get back. I know some of you commented on the Facebook page too, so keep that going. Keep that going. We'll get back to more Brewers talk here too as we get set for game 1 of this 3-game series between the Brewers and the Mets. Cubs. Not Dodgers, but Cubs picked up a win last night against the Diamondbacks. So inched a little bit closer to the Brewers in the standings here, but the Brewers still holding on to a 5.5 game lead, 5.5 game lead over the Cubbies. But the game, another series to watch starting tonight. I think we're at that point in time where you're starting to do a little bit of scoreboard watching. Dodgers Braves. Dodgers are going to be on the road taking on the Braves. Now, I don't know if this means a whole lot, but the Dodgers' record against teams who are 500 or better this year They're under 500. They're 34 and 35. 34 and 35 is the Dodgers' record against teams who have a 500 or better record. The team that has the most amount of wins against teams who are 500 and better, that would be your Milwaukee Brewers. 43 and 22. 43 and 22. No other team in Major League Baseball has 40 or more wins against teams with a 500 or better record. Tampa Bay is 31 and 24. The Yankees are 29 and 29. The Red Sox are 34 and 22. Nobody in the AL Central has a winning record. The closest is actually the Twins, who are 32 and 33. The AL West, Astros, who are one game under 500, but they're 12 games above 500 in teams against with a 500 or better record. They're 32 and 20. The Braves are 38 and 28. They have a winning record against teams who are 500 or better. Maybe that comes into play with this series with the Dodgers. Phillies 31 and 34. Cubs 36-27. Padres 29 and 38. Diamondbacks 30 and 38. But the Brewers are 21 games above 500 against teams who are 500 and better. Does that tell us is that something as a Brewers fan, as a baseball fan, as when you look at it like, dang, like, are you impressed by that number? Or are you like, just kind of shoulder shrug? Yeah. Home, Brewers, definitely better. 45 and 24 compared to 36 and 26. Whereas the Dodgers, they're pretty even. 40 and 26 at home, 40 and 25 on the road. Same with the Cubs. Cubs are 38 and 27 at home, 38 and 29 on the road. But 43 and 22.